We all know that week one of the NFL is arguably the scariest week when it comes to this contest. If not week two for overreaction week. Of my three picks, this one is a reach.
It's a gutsy play. Gutsiest move I ever saw, man.
I went with...
Without further ado, I'm going to give you my number one choice that I would be leaning towards right now. This is not going to be a surprise, I think, to anybody out there that's in Survivor. And it is going to be the Broncos out there in Denver. Look, I don't know how you get past that with a rookie quarterback that you're going to be facing here in week one against Tennessee. So I actually like Tennessee. I think that Cam Ward's going to be just fine here as a rookie quarterback as the number one pick. I think Brian Callahan in year number two should be a whole lot better than he was in year number one. For Tennessee, they were a big fade team for me last year. I don't think I'll be fading them as much this year. But Jensen, if the defense, if Sean Payton's defense looks like it looked last year, it's going to be tough to score on those guys with a rookie quarterback and still kind of getting your sea legs and all those sort of things. So I do understand why, to me, they should more than likely be the number one Survivor option if you're going chalk.
Yeah, and it's fair. I was on with the guys here at 102.5 The Game Nashville yesterday, DVD. Great to be back, and was picking Derek Mason, former Titans receiver's mind about what have you seen as a guy who's had various quarterbacks throughout your career, and especially what you look for from young guys. And it was more of that refrain of everything's been quiet. Dude's gone about his business, and all you hear is about maturity and wise beyond his years. So it might be that, but guess what? Strap it on here for Mile High. Speaking of, I also went a different route. I understand why you go to certain places and why you have comfort zones, but we all know that week one of the NFL is arguably the scariest week when it comes to this contest, if not week two for overreaction week. So of my three picks, this one is a reach. I went with the Jacksonville Jaguars as my first lean. And the reason being, when you look at the map, and I don't mind mapping things out and seeing, as I predicated with the Christmas and also the Thanksgiving and Black Friday weeks, there are a lot of great matchups and there's a lot of great teams. So you have to be mindful of, I don't really want to burn it. Now, I know there's tales of two stories here. Well, you got to get through. You got to get there.
Right.
All right, fine. But also, last couple of years, we've seen that the popular selections bulldozed. So I'm going to err on the side of Liam Cohen and crew at home, Duval. I get it. You're looking at Carolina, a much more improved team. But also from Jacksonville's map, there's really not another place you can use them until right around week 14, week 15. So if you're going to burn them, if you're going to go for it, if you're going to try and zag when people are zigging, this is a good spot to start.
That is, I can't use that type of language. I would just say it's a gutsy play. Gutsiest move I ever saw, man.
Amen.
Like Maverick. Number two selection for me, and this is kind of going to go, to me, mapping it out the chalky way.
Yep.
Right? I don't like taking road teams at all, right? But if you were to take one week one, I think you could go down there to the Bayou and look at Arizona. And when we were previewing every team throughout the summer here, this is, again, go to the VSiN Pro if you're a subscriber and check out how a lot of our people feel about this team on the network. They feel they're in play to not only challenge, but potentially win this division. I do like their defense. I like what Jonathan Gannon has been able to do there.
Sure.
And for that reason, 6-point favorites here in week one on the road. So you extrapolate that at home. That would be a bigger favorite than Denver technically is over Tennessee at home. Denver's about a 7-point favorite. So you give the 3 points. If that still holds true for home field, you can almost make them a 9-point favorite in this equation if this game was at home. Look, there's also this shock and awe factor that could happen if you're backing a road team and we think we know what Arizona is and we don't know really what New Orleans is. We think they're going to be bad. We think they might be already on the clock for Arch Manning.
Sure.
If he decides to come out. But I get why people would look and say, all right, Arizona, I want to fade the Saints. And that's going to be a strategy for some. Like, when are they going to get their first win? Well, man, I'll just keep fading the Saints.
Right.
And then if they win a game, I'll tip my cap to them and you have to maneuver around those landmines there. But I understand why Arizona is going to be a chic pick in Survivor Week number one.
Great minds think alike. That's where I was going. If I was going to do a chalky pick, that would be my number two pick.
There it is.
And again, in no order for me, but just three teams you would identify for various reasons. So Arizona, much for the same idea. Also would not be shocked if this team is among the top three most popular when we eventually get all those picks locked in and we see where the percentages lie. Again, if you're looking at mapping it out and just kind of seeing, all right, Arizona week one, you could potentially do it for the home opener in week two. If you think Cam Ward is still taking time and Tennessee's roster isn't, super in synergy with where they're going. Week 5, if you want to take the Cardinals at home. And again, this is part of the mapping out process, but I'm with you, short and sweet. If Tyler Shuck or Spencer Rattler beat me, I didn't deserve to advance anyway.
Agreed. My third selection kind of gets back to your first selection. And that if you're looking for a zigzag theory, you're not in this thing to make it to week 5.
Yeah.
You're in it to win it. Right? And you're going to have to stick your neck out there sooner rather than later. At some point, you're going to have to do it.
Okay.
Do you want to stick it out on week 1? I don't know. But if you did, and something we talked a lot about yesterday, it would be the Indianapolis Colts. So I look at the Colts, and I go, man, do I trust Danny Dimes? I think I trust him enough against Miami.
Wow.
I understand why Shane Steichen and why Chris Ballard made this command decision and said, we're not going to go with Anthony Richardson. We're going to go with the guy that we believe those other 52, those veterans. Let's get off on the good foot. We're playing at home. We're going to be talking about our late owner and Jim Irsay, all the emotion in that bill. We can't lose to the Dolphins at home in week 1. So if I'm looking at a team that's got a win total of 7.5, okay, and I'd probably play the under, where am I to get 7? Right? This would have to be one of those 7 to me if I'm looking at the Colts. Again, risky play, risky proposition, but if you're trying to win it and you could clear one with the Colts on week 1, oh, man, are you feeling pretty good about week 2 and beyond?
We predicated it by saying neither Dave nor I knew before the show what our selections were. I went with Indianapolis.
Oh, baby! Let's go!
And I even went even farther out from a standpoint of the Irsay daughters are listen, this is business. And we need to get off. Like, you think about how much pride is on the line here. And I think also from a Colts standpoint, now that the QB decision has been made and they're hearing all kind of the national pushback on it, it's going to motivate the locker room a bit. There's a lot of pride on there. So great minds here. But again, this is a great exercise because there's no way Indianapolis is going to be a popular pick. There's no way that Jacksonville is going to be, a super popular pick. I think they've got a chance to be in the top 5.
Denver should be the most played
Denver
team,
should
we would
be.
think, right?
They absolutely should. And so, whether they're Broncos, whether they're Colts, the horses are out of the barn here in just a handful of weeks.
Thanks for watching, but don't let the betting insights end here. If you want an extra edge this football season, you can get a month of VSiN Pro right now absolutely free. That means access to our betting insights, analysis, and tools like our betting splits at 0 cost to you. Click the link in the description to sign up.